Hello everyone, this is the Inflatable Maniac, and today I'm back with another sort of review, more of a update, I guess, on a certain inflatable. This is the 8-foot Frankenstein's monster from Walmart, I believe. Actually, I don't know. I forget what year this was. Yeah, 2004 model. So, here's what it looks like. Generic box. Cool, it still has the box though. Anyway, you guys have seen this if you watched my channel. Probably, but you guys know I got this last year. Paid a lot for it. It was like around 110, I think, and it looks good in the photos. That I think. Frankly, I don't remember, but inflated fine in the video, and then I put it away for, storage. Went to college, so I didn't end up using it last year. Came back, opened it up earlier this year, and he was thinning. So he might have already been in the thinning process and putting him back in the box, like, kind of sped it up. I don't really know how that works. Anyways, all I know is that he was working last year just fine, and then this year he was thinning. So, getting all that out of the way, decided I wanted to try and get at least a season out of him, because I did pay some good money for him, and I don't just want to, throw him away. That just feels like a waste. So what I've done is modified him slightly. I'll go over that in a second. But as you guys saw in the video, probably, I made it a little short at least. I gave him a whirlwind fan, and that seemed to help him stand up. And then he had this fan. When I took off the whirlwind globe, he was sagging really bad. He wouldn't even stand up straight. This is just a typical SJDB2. A couple lights and stuff. Nothing special. So you might ask, well, where does the modification come in? That's a good question. That's what I'm getting to. So obviously, took off the fan. That's not too hard. Unscrew the base. Remove a couple things here and there, yada yada. And then I did a couple things to him, and this is nothing revolutionary. I just wanted to make a video because I felt like it. So you can see on the bottom here, that's where the fan was, where that pink fabric is. Frankly, it's on the bottom, so I don't really care if it looks funny. Plus, that's like some of the only fabric I had lying around. Sewed that up, just sewed around the hole. That was another little hole I found, so I just sewed a fabric around there. And just used a regular sewing machine, some white thread, not anything crazy. Yeah, if you're wondering where I got the fabric from, it's good to have some around, I guess. That's my 9-foot unicorn I had. I took the fan off that a while ago, and I've been trying to sell just the fabric. Nobody wanted it, even for $5, so I finally just said, screw it, I'm just gonna take it off the interwebs, and glad I kept it, because this is very useful, it turns out. And then second part was probably the most tedious. There was the hole. I cut a hole in the back. Not too large. Just wide enough to fit the whirlwind globe fan here. And then I cut some of the unicorn fabric and sewed it into like a little tube-ish sort of thing. Just kind of cut out a square, sewed the ends together. And then what I had to do was I stuck the tube in the hole, had to fold the fabric in a certain way. I don't really know how to describe it. So in there, fold the fabric some way and then sew around it so it would stay. That was a pain. I hated that. I originally tried using part of the horn because I was already tubular shaped, and I got almost all the way through and messed it up and had to restart. So that was very tedious. But then the last thing was making sure it stayed on. So what I did there, I folded the end of the tube over, and we got one of his thick tethers because I didn't have much else lying around. And what I did there, if my camera would stop unfocusing, that'd be great. Thank you very much for nothing. So I just folded that over, stuck the tether over, in the fold, folded the fabric over the tether, and then sewed around it to kind of make like a little tube that the tether's in. And then that way you can just kind of, slide the tube on the fan and use the tethers to tie it around so it doesn't come off, which is what I've done. Tried doing it over the top, that didn't seem to work, so I've got it tied there under the fan. This video's starting to get a little longer than it needs to be, so I'll just plug him in, show you guys how it inflates, and we'll call it good. It is getting late anyway, so I should probably be doing other productive things. So here goes. I don't actually think that's a whirlwind globe. It didn't have the adapter for the lights, but Honestly, I don't know what kind of fan it is, just one of the powerful ones. Alright, Frank, up you go. Okay. As of right now, that is how he looks. I know, not the best, but he stands. That's all I care about. If I can just get a season or two, if I'm lucky, out of him, that's all I care about. Something else I forgot to mention. I was going to give him tether loops, or I guess stick loops, using tether loops in the unicorn. Turns out, I didn't need to. Those are the clips that attach to the base fan. I'm just going to use those, stake him down. Should do fine. Now you might be wondering, does he actually inflate that good? The answer, sadly, is no. That is not tight at all. But it doesn't need to be. As long as it gets the job done, that's all I care about, like I said, because you can see very see-through suit. White has some thinning on it. The worst part is the pants. The purple is like practically see-through in some parts, so that's a no-go. That's no bueno. The fan did only have 2 lights, and I'm not going to splice anymore because I don't know how to do that, and frankly I don't care enough. I'm actually seeing them at night, but I guess lights are better than I thought. I just used the white tie things they have to hold the lights up in the first place. Tied one of the lights up in his head, if I can see where I'm pointing, and then tied the other one over his shoulder. I would have preferred it to be a little lower, you know, like down in his pants or chest, but doing the best we have with what we got. In fact, I'm surprised he lights up this well. That's mostly what I care about. Frankly, I just realized. And as long as the head's lit up, that's all I really care about, to be completely honest. Because then you can see what he is. If he's in the dark completely, that's lame. I was worried I'd have to get like a strobe light or something, but nah, this is fine. Anyway, that's basically how I modified Frankenstein to be a normal bass fan to a pull-out whirlwind glove fan, if you will. That's basically it. Thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, thanks for the support. I do appreciate it, especially as I know my videos tend to get long sometimes. I just kind of tend to ramble about stuff that doesn't really matter. But I do appreciate it. And stay tuned. The display will be going up beginning of October, and I'll make a video of the display at some point in October. Anyway, thanks guys. See you in the next video. Peace.